try. Well, looks like there's sufficient evidence to suspect.
Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well today.
That's what I told the grand people.
I was watching Anaconda. Hold on. Okay, so little life update. Everything's going well here with me and RJ. I'm actually on a break from school because I just finished my spring semester. Grades should be posting pretty soon. They're getting, I know we're in May, so I know there's like graduation and stuff going on for people who are graduating, but I'm finished with my spring semester, praise almighty. And now I wait for I'm taking 4 summer classes, which some people do, some people don't, but I figured why not? We're not doing anything for summer. So let me just, get ahead. And then starting fall, if it be the Father's will, because guys, times are getting crazy, right? I know y'all been watching the news. We've been watching the news. We don't just watch the American news, like we watch world news and we see all the stuff that's going on. But so we don't know what the Father will say, hey, this is it or what. The reason I say if is because we don't know. The world is going crazy right now, guys. We don't know what tomorrow may bring, right? I'll be a senior and that will be my last semester for my criminal justice administration degree, my bachelor's criminal justice administration degree. So then I'll go straight into my master's. But anyway, so I'm on a little break. As you guys know, I have been actively trying to find my mom, and in the process of doing my investigations and research on trying to find somebody in my family who may know where she is, I was actually, by the mercy of the Father in heaven, came across a cousin who, her information is all online, her phone number and stuff. She's a professional. She's a nurse, and so I reached out to her. If you haven't watched that vlog, you could go check it out on my channel. Speaking of my channel, guys, so I have 2 copyright strikes from YouTube. I got an email notification, I think about a week ago, and they were notifying me that they were removing some of my videos, which I don't really know how all this works, guys. I started YouTube as a creative outlet, a therapeutical outlet for myself. And I wasn't really aiming to get monetized. And I don't know if I am. I keep going back and forth like, yes, I am. No, I'm not. I'm just going to keep using YouTube as my outlet, as my therapeutic, creativity center. And whatever happens, happens. But I did get 2 strikes, and so I have to be very careful with using, or when I'm recording, making sure there's no videos playing or music, and that's basically what it was. So the vlog that actually got a copyright was the Home Depot vlog. We went into Home Depot, we went to Home Goods, a few other stores, and the music was playing really loud, and I didn't even think twice about it because I wasn't thinking about copyright or getting monetization, all that stuff. But so I had to wait a little while. All my content was hidden on YouTube, and I could like make little posts here and there. But I'm going on there today, which I'm gonna post this vlog today because it's going to be reopened. And moving forward, I have to be very careful with any kind of music playing and stuff like that. So, that's what happened with that. But anyway, so I posted a picture in my post of my call log because today my cousin Janice called, right? I've been waiting for her call, and I talked to some of the ladies on YouTube that we talked back and forth, and they were like, give her some time. Let her reach out, don't feel, because I was kind of feeling like, man, like I was expecting something different, like, oh my goodness, Iris, where have you been? Or, yes, we have all this information to give you, but the welcoming wasn't received that way. Or I should say, the response wasn't what I expected. Yeah. But, you know, she ended up calling me today, and we spoke for about, I don't know, real close to an hour. I think it was like 58 minutes or 59 minutes. And, you know, my husband going in, he was like, when you talk to her, let her do most of the talking, you know, because I do have a habit of like wanting to talk, you know. But so I let her do a lot of the talking, and when I was able to interject, I'd ask some questions like, hey, is this right? Because I don't know if you guys know anybody who was an orphan or grew up in foster care as long as I did, or as young as I was. I was 2 years old when we were taken away from my parents, and at the age of 3 is when their rights were relinquished, and we became a ward of the state, which means that the state of Texas became my guardian. So I don't have very many memories, and a few memories that I have at 40, I'm 40 now, I don't know, like, me and my husband will be talking, I'm like, I don't know if that's a real memory or if that's something that I made up. Like, I don't know, you know, because when you go through trauma, emotional trauma, things happen to the brain, you know what I'm saying? But I had a lot of memories, and I was questioning her, like, hey, is this, you know, like, I was talking about my abuelita. Come to find out, my grandmother is who raised Janice. My grandmother is who raised a lot of us cousins. And so that memory was true. And then she, you know, she confirmed some other things that was like, oh, okay, so that wasn't a dream, or that wasn't something I made up. Like, it's real. Because you do struggle with stuff like that. Like, was that real? And I'm sure other people who haven't had traumatic past have memories that they're not sure if, you know, like, was that real or was that made up? But we had a beautiful conversation. I learned a lot about her. She did tell me about my mom and my sister, because I have a sister who's a lot older than me, and I have a brother also, guys. I don't know. I was with my brother, who was 3 years older than me, when we were put in State's care, and we stayed together for a long time, but we eventually got separated, because in the foster care system, it's hard to find placements, number one, and then it's hard to find placements for brothers and sisters or siblings, and a lot of the times the siblings will get separated, and me and my brother got separated early on, and then we were reconnected later on in life. But when he left foster care, so there's a process that's called aging out. When he aged out of foster care, he went back to go live with my mom. I didn't remember my mom. He was 6 years old when it all happened, so he had memories of her, and he wanted to reconnect, so he took that route. That route did not prove to be prosperous for him. He got in a lot of trouble, and I never saw him again. I do have a memory of my caseworkers and lawyers telling me that he was put in jail, in prison. I don't know if that's true. I did some research on him like a few years ago, and I did find a court case of him having an extensive amount of methamphetamines, and because of that, he either is still in prison or did a lengthy prison time. I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, as of today, 2025, I don't know where he is or what's going on in his life. But my cousin did. Now, I do understand, like, okay, this is from her point of view. This is from knowledge that she knows. I understand that. I respect her opinion and her information. But I did just listen to her. You know what I'm saying? She did have some information about my mom and my sister that weren't, you know, it wasn't easy to hear, you know, when you hear that someone is on drugs or they've struggled with drugs. And I have talked to my husband about this, guys, and this has been such an emotional roller coaster. I had no idea how emotional this was going to be for me. There are moments when I am like so sure of myself, like, yeah, this is going to be cool, like, even if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. But then there's moments like, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and it goes back and forth. You know, I have to be considerate of my husband, because he's like, well, you know, what do you want to do? Like, make up your mind. So I just let the process go about how it's going to go. And it just so happened that today she called me, and I answered, because when she called and I saw the phone, I was like, do I want to answer it? Do I not want to answer it? Oh my goodness. Like, I answered it. And I'm glad I did, because, you know, I feel like this is the beginning, but I still need to be patient and just let the Father do his work and let it unfold how it's going to unfold naturally, you know. She did say that she was going to pass me my tia's number, which for all you who don't know slang, Mexican, Hispanic, Spanish, whatever. Tia means aunt, like your aunt, auntie, aunt, whatever. So she did say she has my tia's number, which was surprising to me, guys. She actually told me, she's like, we all don't keep in contact. There's been a lot of falling out. There's been a lot of drama. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I understand, like, all families have drama, you know, and I'm gonna take everything that everybody says and apply it, but I'm not gonna like automatically be like, oh, my mom's a drug addict and she's been to prison and I'm gonna go in and treat her some kind of way. No, because I live by scripture as best to my ability, and where I fall short, the Father in heaven knows I fall short all the time, guys. But I'm not gonna judge my mom, you know. I still want to talk to her. I still want to connect with her. I still want to send her a Bible. I still want to do the things that I was led to do. And I just need to be patient, because, guys, I've been struggling with, like, why isn't this woman calling me back? You know, speaking about my cousin. You know, and she did tell me that they never forgot about me. My cousin said, I remember seeing you one time, because one time the state did take us to go visit my family before my brother had graduated, because they were trying to reconnect us with any family that would meet with us, so that when we did age out, we weren't left to the wolves, like, out in the world. But because my brother went back and was in a lot of trouble, I decided not to take that route. So I ended up going into the world, getting lost, getting confused. You guys know all the things. So my cousin did say, like, we never forgot about you. We think about you all the time. My sister remembers you coming in 2001. And I do remember that, like, I was 15. That was the first time you seen my family since I was 9 years old, because we had stayed a whole summer with my family. And I told Janice, I was like, I don't know if you remember this, but we stayed for a whole summer. And Junior, which is what we call my brother, Junior stayed with Huelita, and I stayed with my tia Belinda. And she was kind of, you know, she was like, I don't really remember. I was here and there. But you know, she did say that she was actually the one taking care of my abuelita when she was sick. So my abuelita lived to be 80 something years old. I don't remember. I took notes, but I don't remember what she said exactly. And she took care of her while she was in hospice. So hospice is, you know, home health care, the end of stages of life you get in home health care. My cousin Janice is who took care of my grandmother. My cousin Janice was raised by my grandmother also. A lot of us were, which was crazy. Well, I wasn't, you know, I just remember when we were there, a lot of my cousins lived there, and they were like building onto my grandmother's house so that all the cousins could fit. But so she told me that when our grandmother had passed, she made a CD, like, for the funeral, you know, and she put together collages and pictures, and she's like, I did that, and I have pictures of your mom and your sister and all your cousins on there. And she was like, would you like me to send you a copy? And I was like, yes, of course. And of course, guys, I didn't give her my address right away. I talked to my husband. I was like, you know, what do you think? And he says, no, yeah, go ahead. He's like, you know, I'm not worried about nothing, you know, like, we're protected, so go ahead. I'm like, okay. So I sent her my address. She did say she wanted to call me back later today, and she would give me my tia Norma's number, and that's the next step. So the next step is me calling my tia Norma, of course, getting all her side of the story and telling me all her, you know, her perspective on everything. And I'm just going to keep going this route, just keep going down the list and keep trying to reach out and talk to this person, talk to that person. And eventually, hopefully, if the Father say the same, I eventually get a hold of my mom. I do like the fact that I've connected with my cousin. It just still feels all unfamiliar to me, you know, because I'm not used to having family like that, you know, that know more about my biological family than I do. It's just weird. It's a weird process. It's been an emotional process. I've realized, like, this whole process I have found and the reason I'm telling you guys this is because I know that there are foster children or children who've been adopted out there. You guys know I have 3 girls who were adopted when I gave birth to them. I literally handed them over the same day that I gave birth to them to their adopted parents, which I got to pick. I went through an adoption agency. I got to pick the parents. You know, you go through extensive binders of families. You get to meet these families, interview them, ask them. I did that whole process because I wanted to make sure that I put my girls with families that were going to care for them, love them, and provide everything that they ever needed. Because that was the only reason why I didn't keep my girls, because I felt like I am in no position to have a child. I'm in no position to care for a child. I don't know the first thing about being a mom. I don't know the first thing about anything. You know what I'm saying? I was jumping from job to job, home to home. And I was like, that's no way to raise a child, you know? And so I gave up my girls to be adopted by they were, you know, each girl was from a different dad. I'm not claiming to be the best person in the world, guys. I have all my sins I reveal because the Father says to share my testimony with others and let you guys know, like, I'm not perfect. I made mistakes in my life. Am I ashamed of those mistakes? Absolutely. But I know that there is a creator in heaven who loves us, who sent his son to die for us. And that's my truth. My truth is I was a sinner. I was all the things. And when I called out to him, he changed my life. He took all those things away from me, all those things that I thought I needed in men, you know, the thirstiness of wanting to chase after a life of popularity and all that stuff. He took that from me, and he blessed me and gave me a husband, and, you know, helped me. The Father took the taste of wanting to be on drugs away from me. And so that's really why I'm talking about this, and I want to share this journey with you, because I know there are, like, back to point A, there are children who search for their biological families. And I want to document the process to let people know, like, this is the process. You know, it's not going to be this, like, fantasy where you find your relatives and it's going to be, you're going to find out everything and it's going to happen so fast, and it's going to just be like this missing piece that you were searching for your whole life. That's not the case. Like, for example, like what I'm going through, this has brought out so many emotions in me, and it's a process, and I'm blessed to have a husband who is supportive and encouraging, and he's, you know, he's an answered prayer. But I have found myself in moments of insecurity and dealing with insecurity again, in the sense of, like, dealing with possible rejection or possible, you know, like, being shut down, because everybody's life people get to choose what they want to do. My cousin Janice could have been like, I'm not comfortable talking to you. I'm not comfortable sharing information about my family members. I don't know who you are. I don't know this, you know, I don't know your mom, or your mom is not in contact with us. She could have said anything. And so you know, I don't try to be a pessimistic, you know, like always looking for the bad and everything. But when you grow up the way I did, always expecting the worst to happen, you just tend to be that way, you know. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but, like, when I watch YouTube videos or something, when I see an animal, like, okay, for example, right, here's a little glimpse of what goes through my head. So when you look at animal videos, right, and you're like, oh, that's such a cute puppy, the first thing that comes to my mind is I think about, like, that dog is eventually gonna die, right? I know that sounds like terrible, but that's the truth. I always look at the worst case scenario so that and I know people say you can prepare for the worst thing your whole life, but never be prepared when it actually happens. I understand that. But for me and my and I'm trying to change that, guys. I'm trying to be able to live in the moment and see the beauty in the moment, like in the process, you know, like, and not see something beautiful and then think of the damage or the horrific what if thing that could happen, you know. I'm aware of what I do to myself, and it's like, oh, Iris, you got to pray that off, because I want to be able to look at videos of beautiful animals and flowers and not think of, like, oh, that flower is going to die, or oh, that puppy will eventually die, or that dog is going to grow old and then you got to deal with it passing away. I don't want to think like that. I don't want to, like, meet new people and then think of, like, oh, she's going to betray me, or, you know, it's not going to work out. It's going to, because I'm like, I feel like I set myself up for failure, and I don't want to do that. I want to just live in the moment and just be grateful for, you know, what's happening right now in this moment, you know. And I don't know if that's trauma based. I don't know, you know. I've tried therapy. I've tried all that stuff. I actually had a therapist tell me, guys, I'm being 100 with you. I actually had a therapist tell me that she could not continue therapy with me because I needed extensive help. Like, she said that she did not have the proper tools or understanding of how to help someone like me. And that just killed the whole therapy thing for me. I was like, I knew I had problems, you know, like, but I know that I have a counselor, and my counselor is my Messiah. And I know through prayer, I know through fasting, and I know through reading scripture that I will be able to overcome my pessimistic self. You know, I want to be an optimist. I want to look at the glass half full, not half empty. I don't want to come up to the glass and be like, who drank my drink? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be grateful for what is. And I'm working on that. But for all you people out there who are looking for relatives that you haven't seen or talked to in a long time, or if you're a foster child watching this video, or a foster, not necessarily a child, but someone who was in the foster care system, an orphan, it's not an easy process. You will go through the emotional roller coasters of uncertainty, of insecurity, feeling rejected. I mean, it's a whole thing. But just know that through prayer, these things will be revealed to you in time. Don't rush it. Just, you know, and the first thing that I did was I subscribed to Truth Finder. Truth Finder is where I got the information for finding my sister. I do have access, my cousin. I do have access to a few other programs through school, but that's for, you know, criminal justice stuff. But and that's the first step that I took. I started researching on Truth Finder. The membership is not expensive. Monthly, I think it's like $30, and it's more than paid for itself. Me and my husband have used it many times for different things, even to keep track of like our credit and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the first step that I took. Is I did the subscription to Truth Finder, and I started researching. I started looking at, you know, because Truth Finder will give you social media profiles, it'll give you emails, it'll give you phone numbers, it'll give you all the things that you need. And if you pay for like the extensive package, it gives you more access to more information. So that would be the first thing that I do. And then just start going down the list. Just start calling every single number that you find. Start cross-referencing this person to this associate, and just start knocking it out. Now, did I get burned out real quick on that? I did, because I started calling all these numbers, and then I'd get like, this number is no longer in service. Or, you know, I'd go onto the Instagram or whatever email was attached to that person's profile and just hit a brick wall. But it is exhausting. You do have to limit yourself to what you're willing to do all in one day, because you can get overexcited and be like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then I eventually was like, I got to shut this down. I had to take a few days of break. Once I got in contact with my cousin Janice, I was like, okay, this is where I'm going to start. And whatever comes from this is where I'm going to go. You know? So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So yes, I am in contact with a relative from my biological family. She is very busy. So she calls when she can. And I try not to bother her too much. I send her a text every morning. You know, not every morning, but I send her a text some morning saying, good morning, I hope you're doing okay. Have a blessed day, stuff like that, you know. Because guys, I'm not really, I've noticed that being on my cell phone and being on YouTube has taken a lot of my focus off of other things, like my Bible study and stuff like that. So I have to learn how to balance each thing, because I have to read my Bible. I have to stay in scripture. I know some people are like, oh, the God stuff, but that's my life. That's who I choose to follow. That's who I choose to serve. That is who has saved me from the most darkest times, you know. And I'm learning that I can't let anybody or anything pull me away from my salvation, because guys, we are not saved yet. Okay, I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you're saved, I'm saved. No, you are still running this race. You are not saved until the Messiah cracks that sky and he comes back to get us. And he is telling us, you better live by my rules, you better live by my commandments, and when I come back to receive you, you best be ready, because it is going to happen. And the way I'm living my life right now is I have things that I struggle with too. I struggle with some of the things that won't be found in the kingdom, and there's things that I need to work on, like to make sure that I stay focused in scripture, to make sure I'm not surrounding myself with people because guys, I tend to be that person who is, and I know this comes from like my past, but I'm that type of person who wants to be accepted. I'm scared of rejection. I don't want to be the outcast. Like I've learned that I need to work on asking the Father to help me with always feeling offended. Like I'm always like, I'm that type of person where I'm like, did she say that to try to get at me some kind of way, because I'm always thinking people are out to get me. And I know that's like because of how I grew up and all this stuff. And I'm like having to say, no, Iris, like just live in the moment. Like just be happy right now. Don't worry about what other people think of you. Don't worry about rejection. Don't worry about always trying to be accepted by others. Like that is not necessary. And I know what scripture says about being thirsty. Like we ain't supposed to be thirsty people. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to be content and just live in the moment. So that's everything that's going on right now. I'm actually trying to fix my sewing machine. Something's wrong with it and I don't know, guys. I've been watching all kinds of YouTube channels and trying to figure out why this is not working for me, but we're gonna get back to it. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the encouraging words and thank you for all your support, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you're watching this and have not subscribed, please subscribe. There will be more vlogs coming about my everyday life. This is me and my husband growing old together, going through life, trying to make it just like you and everybody else. I'm not here to judge anybody. I know that I am responsible for my own actions, and I just want to be an encouraging light to any of you and say that no matter what happens in life, we can overcome it by the power and the love and kindness of our Messiah. And through our Messiah and through prayer, we have been reconciled to our Father in heaven. And just know that we are all sinful people and nobody is better than the next. We all have things we got to work on. But if we can do anything in this life, let us continue to love one another, encourage one another, and be helpmates to one another. Anyways, guys, I love you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will be making more everyday life content. And I will be aware of playing music in my videos or in the stores or how, I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. But if I have to vlog at home, washing dishes, cooking, hanging out, that's what we going to do. Because if I get one more strike, that's it, baby. They're going to take my channel from me, guys. And I don't even know how that works. I don't know if you can open up a new channel or, I don't know. But anyways, I love you guys. Bye.